Hello everybody out there, I'm Chris.
I'm Mike.
And welcome back to another indie comic book review. And guys, we didn't get a chance to do the next parts for the Dirk Manning books. I didn't get a chance to read Mystery Volume 1. However, we should be getting the rewards from the Kickstarter soon.
Yep.
So we'll have some physical stuff to show you guys. And Mike will finish Volume 1 of Nightmare World.
Yeah, and I will be doing a comic review of that on Comic Frontline.
Comic Book Corner, yeah.
For Comic Book Corner on Comic Frontline. And hopefully I'll be getting to Volume 2 very soon.
Next week.
Next episode.
By next episode, we should be continuing both him with Nightmare World and me with Tales of Mystery Volume 1.
Yes, so we have 3 physical books and 14 digital books, and they were all released on March 18, 2015.
And other than 2, which are mine, it's all... Oh, no, sorry, 3 that are mine. They're all Michael's. Honestly, guys, I would love to read a lot more digital, a lot more indie books. I do tend to read a lot of them after the indie review. My work schedule was so busy, and Michael had gotten into so many series already that it became a default for me to give him...
busy too, you know.
Oh, I know. It became a default for me to give him all the #1. So there is the Fly #1, for example.
That's why I wear these glasses and try to see and remember all of them.
He did, you know, it became a default. You know, I'm readjusting to having more time to read, and hopefully in that readjustment, I'll be able to take over a lot more books again.
And that would be helpful.
And that would be great. I agree.
All right.
So let's get into the 3 physical books first.
Okay, and then we start with you.
No, actually, it's the other way around, buddy.
Oh, it's that way?
Yeah, it's that way.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess it starts with me then.
No, it doesn't. It actually does start with me, but it starts with this book.
Okay. Roles reverse much.
Yes, Mike had it upside down. Charmed issue #6. This was a nice book. It was about Phoebe, who is signing books. She's out on a, you know, she wrote a book. She's out signing them. And her daughter comes to stay with her overnight one time. You know, she's all by herself. And her daughter stays. It turns out there's a ghost, or I forgot what it was called, a will-o'-the-wisp, so to speak. And it turns out that it possessed Phoebe's daughter, and it wants to keep her. There was a lot of action, lots of really great dialogue here, and it shows Phoebe why it possessed why it took over her daughter PJ, and that it wants to keep PJ for herself. And Phoebe actually is able to save her daughter and actually allow the will-o'-wisp to you know, because Phoebe's an empath, she's able to take all the pain instead, and she's able to, and the ending obviously is leading into a future story arc involving the death of somebody in previous issues. Looks really, really interesting. I really am enjoying Pat Chan's writing with Charmed. I may not be the hugest Charmed fan, but he definitely makes me want to come back each and every month for the next issue of Charmed. Really, really good stuff. Yes. Now it's yours.
Yes. And speaking of Patrick Chan, we have Robyn
It's a
Hood.
Shan-the-Palooza.
Yeah, Robyn Hood issue #8. And it is a Window of to the Soul, Part 2. So what happens in this gives a little bit more of a backstory of Marilyn and...
Marion?
Yeah, Marion and... I can't really remember her name because... Well, basically, it just has like a little bit of a past thing where she actually appears in this book, and we have a nice artwork, by the way, along with Robyn going up against the demonic things that are in the whole whatchamacallit, that thing that she went to,
church?
No, not the church. It's like a group thing. They're called the Cabal. Thank you. And she fights off against them, where Avella, that's her name. Where Marion takes on Avella, which doesn't turn out so well. And I like how Robyn is now trying to use what you heard from the therapist, like, you know, of all that. And it's really action-packed. I don't want to really give too much away, but let's just say that Robyn did learn that Avella is back in their realm and everything. But let's just say that the Cabal, there's going to be a lot of stuff. Yeah, Cabal. It sounds like Cabal to me. And, well, let's just say that things aren't going to look so well for Marion and Robyn. It's very intense. I don't want to give too much away because you guys never got to read this. I love his work on Robin Hood, and can't wait to see what will happen next in Robin Hood.
Alright. The one time I'm really going to have a lot to say about anything in the rest of this review other than the one first digital book. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles issue 44. This is a pivotal issue in this volume of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because this closes the door on certain threats to Earth, and it also is the beginning of the setup for the double-sized issue 50, which is now, after this issue, 6 issues away. We have 45, 50, 51, 52, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, and 50. I don't know why I started doing that, but anyway, beside the point, in this issue it's the Turtles versus Baxter Stockman's Flybots and the Mousers and Krang. Baxter Stockman sees he's losing this battle, so he escapes. You've got Donatello fighting Bebop and Rocksteady because Shredder told them basically to kill Donatello because he feels he was betrayed. I'm not going to talk much about this part. Then you got the Turtles fighting Krang in order to give Fugitoid enough time to stop the Technodrome from terraforming Earth. You got Splinter alone now versus Cowrie and the Foot, and then Angel and Aliplex show up, thank you God, to save Splinter because Hob and his gang, they split tail and left, and Cowrie disappears. I love how Splinter is still trying to reach out to Cowrie and say, listen, this is not you're not your uncle, and I see you're different. You still have time to redeem yourself, and she just runs. And back on Burnow Island, you got Shredder, who's basically on his last ounce of life, and two of the people, I forgot who these two were called, two of his mutants actually end up running, leaving him behind, but somebody does end up saving him. Spoiler alert, Baxter Stockman. The Turtles defeat Krang. Fugitoid is able to stop the Technodrome, and Dimension X is once again safe from Krang's rule, and Fugitoid and his people end up able to live on their planet again without Krang and his people against them, trying to destroy them. And Krang is definitely going to be answering for all of his crimes. However, when the Turtles return, they have to deal with the one thing, and it's been all over the internet, so unfortunately this isn't as much of a spoiler as I was hoping, but it turns out that Donatello is no longer amongst the living. At least that's how this issue is ending, and a lot of people have been talking to Kevin Eastman, a lot of people have been talking, a lot of people in general have been finding out that Dead is dead. That's what they're saying. They're playing very cool heads that, maybe Donnie's gone. And, you know what? I'm 50% willing to believe that, and 50% not. Because in previous volumes, they did kill Donnie, but at the same time, Donatello, it's the 4 Turtles. All 4 Turtles are important to this book. If Donnie is going to be dead, I believe somehow by issue 50 or maybe a little bit after 50, we're going to get a resolution to how, to Donatello, and somehow he'll survive it. There's Kitsune, who has the mystical magical powers. There are a bunch of other possibilities out there. I'm not going to list them all, but do I think Donnie's dead for good? No, I think that they'll keep him gone for a little while, make people miss him enough, and then they can bring him back. These are comic books after all, And you can't say Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles without all 4 Turtles' names in it. This is an excellent issue, and obviously I only have one other book, so this is definitely my book of the week. Now we're going into the digital. Honorable mention goes out to Peanuts issue number 26. Awesome stories. I enjoy it each and every week. The artwork is consistent all the way through to the end of the book. If you like Peanuts, if you like Snoopy and everybody else in the Peanuts crew, you will love this book. enough said. It's one of my two guilty pleasures, Garfield being the other one. However, with Garfield, unfortunately, the artwork is a little different right now. So hopefully we'll get some original artwork after this story arc with Garfield. Now we're going into Dynamite. John Carter, Warlord of Mars, 40-page special one-shot. And I actually did read this too, Mike, and I thought that the action in it was really good.
This is my book of the week from Digital. I mean, it shows an origin story of John Carter along with his beloved Deidre Torres, and they go up against this emperor. I forgot what his name was. Who was
Emperor of Eurobus.
Bandolin, and he was actually in some other book that was where he like brought him into prison and stuff like that. So and he said one day he was going to you know, get his revenge. So he tries his ways of trying to get to him. He throws him and Deidre Torres into prison. Luckily, there was somebody who John Carter once knew before that's actually wanting to help him take down Pandolin as well as his empire. So they work together. I love the artwork, by the way. I will mention that.
Varian.
Varian, thank you. So Varian teams up with John Carter and Deidre Torres to go up against Bandolin and his army. So after all that, they're just trying to find ways of how they're going to go about it. And it's just like a whole big, huge fight scene where all that happens. And, you know, I'm not going to give too much away because there's so much dialogue, but it was really an amazing fight between John Carter and Pandolin. It was just, I don't know how to describe it. It was just so epic. It's like I actually could see the action happening, and it was really amazing. And of course, we know that John Carter won because he is John Carter after all.
And Varian actually becomes leader of the army.
Right, and yeah. So basically, that's the end of the book. So it was really awesome and adventurous. So any of you John Carter fans who want to see an adventurous book, then that one shot is definitely for you. As well as this one shot.
It's the Altered States Doc Savage one shot. They're doing a lot of that. They did that with, I believe, Red Sonja, and they've done it with Vampirella, so now they're with Doc Savage.
And what I read about Doc Savage is that he's trying to do this study about animals and stuff like that. So he comes up with this science experiment that could turn him into an animal or like a monster. Like this book reminds me of Incredible Hulk. If it doesn't speak out to you, it spoke out to me that he was like Incredible Hulk, where he was this creature who was like out of control, didn't know what he was doing, and he just lashed out on people. I love the artwork. The creativity in this artwork was really amazing because you kind of see what he's going through, and the half and half thing kind of reminded me of the Hulk as well with the whole Lou Ferrigno Hulk one. And now they're trying to find a way of how they're going to capture him to give him the medicine that can not make him monster and make him human. Because the way he sees the army, he sees them as a threat to him that's trying to kill him, where they're trying to help him.
Yep.
So they're doing every which way to get to him, like a distraction, with a lot of, you know, strategies and everything else. And they do get to him in time where he turns into human. And he's like, well, where am I? Like, I don't remember any of this happening. Like how long have I been out? And it's been lots of hours. So he is human, but there was this one scene where there's this guy who turns him the wrong way or something, like says about a lot of stuff, and he just lashes out and attacks him, and in the mirror he sees himself as the monster that he didn't see himself as when he was in that state. And that's the end of the book. So that was really interesting. That was like actually my second book of the week. You said you didn't like it very much.
I didn't read it. I didn't get a chance to read it yet, no.
Oh, I thought it was this one. Oh,
no.
My mistake. Okay, Solar, issue number 10. And this is really the most vocal point of, or actually focused on, I should say, on Erica.
Yeah.
I was right. Erica is now teaming up with this guy who knows magic, which I actually find really interesting. Go up. Because they say his name. I really want to know what his name is. well, he could basically deal with a lot of magic stuff, and to actually help Erica with her problem of doing like mathematical stuff, because she's still, you know, this whole thing of that she wants to do things her way rather than listen to what her father says or anyone else. And they're trying to tell her, even Colin, who's there, is trying to, you know, tell her about how to use her powers and everything. Whereas one of the guys gets a little kidnapped and everything. It's like a long story there. So she's trying to find, like what's going on. Because there's a threat that's going on, and they need her to actually, her help to get through it. And her father's saying, you know, you're in grave danger and you need to listen to this man because, you know, this is where things are getting a lot of seriousness. And what they're saying is that there's just something that's coming their way, a cosmic power beyond anyone's understanding that could affect everybody in life and humanity. And she's the key and the reactor to team up with his magic, like basically to like fuse together or something, like to share magic or fusing something, if that makes any sense, in order to do that. And Erica's saying, no, I don't do that, I'm not a team player, I do things my own way solo. Even though the father tries to convince her, she just goes out willy-nilly and just says, you know what, I do what I want, I'm going to use my powers and yada yada yada. I'm going to save the world by myself. I don't need your help. So she just does that, and boom goes the planet, as what the guy's saying of what's going to happen as the ending results. And now there's going to be a new villain called Eclipse, who is almost alike to Erica's father, but only in a black suit with a C on his chest, like Eclipse.
That's a moon, not a C.
Well, it looks like a C from where I'm looking at it, because the costume overshadows a little bit.
You worry me.
Yeah, I know. I worry everybody.
Another one. Oh, this is the first issue.
Oh, first issue.
First issue. Lady Rawhide, Lady Zorro.
Yes.
Issue 1.
And this issue was actually okay. The first issue, like, it starts off from Lady Zorro's point of view of how she's trying to save all the people, and you know, she's just doing her Lady Zorro stuff, trying to stop the commander and the bad guys and trying to save the village. Whereas she gets knocked over on the waterfall. Oh, I'm sorry, she gets shot, which knocks her into the water, saying she cannot survive that, so she's probably dead. Lady Zorro. Then it goes to Rawhide's point of view, where she saves her, and then that's where the whole talk scene comes in, just saying, you know, I've just been through, you know, all this other stuff and everything, and she's really not the type of person that is caring as I thought she was in her solo books I read months ago, because there's this little girl who was going to them for help about what's going on, and Lady Zorro's like, I really don't want to get into all this. I mean, I don't know, maybe it's because of this whole thing that happened, you know, of back at the scenery. But then after a while she says, you know what, I'm going to do it for your people, and I'm going to help out. And she does that with great artwork, by the way. And that's really the whole basis, you know, just both of them just helping the little girl with these guys who are taking over her village, and, you know, that has her parents kidnapped as well, and they're going to go to somebody who can help them out with this whole thing. So it was an okay issue, but I'm looking for more other stuff.
Oh wow, I forgot I had this book, but okay, I read it.
Yeah.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Season 10, Issue number 13. It's the night after. Love Dares You Part 3. I don't know, for some reason this story is just starting to really wear on me a little bit, because it's focusing on Buffy loves Spike, Spike loves Buffy. Spike's afraid that he's losing his mind because he had a dream where he was his old evil self ripping this couple apart. It turns out that the couple from his dream actually ended up being his next case. He goes to Xander looking for help. Xander, of course, being Xander, is stupid. And then he goes to Giles and Willow for help. And basically they have to perform a bunch of tests on him, painful ones, to make sure he's not being he's not under anybody's control, brainwashed, etc., etc. So Buffy and Xander go to Andrew's house instead, and this was the most boringest part of the whole book, where they're trying to get Andrew not to be upset that he's gay.
Okay.
And Andrew's not upset that he's gay, he's upset that he didn't know it until magic was involved to show him. So that part was kind of like, okay, this is just a filler for the book itself. Then we go back to Spike, who they're still trying to reach into his psyche to figure out if it's him that's really doing it. It turns out it's not. It's something completely different. Buffy gets attacked by two vampires, or New Age vampires, and her and Xander are able to stop them and escape before burning to death. And then the ending has Spike telling Buffy the truth about what's been going on and why Xander took her to Andrews for that long, boring dialogue scene where he's afraid that he's losing his mind. Willow, spoiler alert, also breaks up with her girlfriend because she's changing and she doesn't feel she could be a part of her ex's life anymore. And then there's just the same talk as always, Buffy and Willow talking about relationships. Buffy's like, I'm not willing to give up on Spike yet or commit yet. I need to see if Spike's who I hope he is or who I fear he is. And Willow's like, well, doing one of those will accomplish the other. To be continued. I don't know, this story arc isn't really speaking to me much. Maybe it's just because it's the whole love thing at this point, and really the action's kind of slowed down. I am interested in seeing what's going on with Spike, though, I will say that. So, it was still a very nice read. Next up is 8, issue number 2.
Yes, and in 8, issue number 2, it goes into we're left off in the last issue where the 3 people are now trying to go after, I can't remember what his name was. Well, they call him 8 because of the symbol he has. And they're just trying to find ways of how they can get him back after he's been sent to this whole different world. So we get introduced to more of the world that he's in, and he's like into more other things. Nala, who actually shows him around, is just trying to tell him about this whole thing, like just really just showing him around and everything. And there's this one person who is hoping that he comes back after he wakes up from that whole thingamajigger from where he is. And we get to learn more about these people, I can't remember who they were, that basically killed their mother and father a long time ago. Then she's saying that he's not a stranger or anything, he's basically someone that can help us with what we need on this planet and everything. And it's just like a whole bunch of other stuff that's happening in the book. The others I'll let you read on your own if you're reading this book. And this is where they actually talk about who took over. I really wish you wouldn't go too fast, but basically it's a whole big army thing that happened, and they discovered the 8 on the chest, but
on his arm.
I mean, on his arm. And Nala says that's weird because I have one and it's on her back, and she thinks that's not any accident that happened of him being there. So that's to be continued.
That's interesting.
That's interesting, and I did not see that coming at all.
Alright, we're now an Image for one book. Chrononauts, issue number 1.
Yes, and Chrononauts...
Mark Miller and Sean Murphy.
Yeah, and in this book, it's more of a...
Or it says Sean Gordon Murphy.
Yeah.
But Sean Murphy.
Yeah, and in this book, it's just about these 2 guys who are trying to build a time machine. A time machine where they can go into time, like, in the years. And they're trying to build this time machine for a purpose of, with the use of the satellite in the dimension. So they do try, so they want to use that to go in the time to see history, but history is actually unfolding itself in reality, like World War II and everything else that's happening. So that's where all this whole time machine was actually motivated to build it in. So with the MIT trainer as his partner, they're going to try it out to go back in time and everything. And everything looks like it was going to go great, but it turns out to be haywire. I mean, who didn't see this coming? Corbin is his name, and Dr. O'Reilly. So those are the two people who are using the time machine. So when Corbin went first, things, like I said before, don't turn out so well. And that's where Dr. Riley says that he wants to go after him, but it would cause like some type of reaction that might go haywire and everything. And they're trying to tell him, you know, you're not allowed to do that. But he says he's my friend. He would do the same for me. So I'm best qualified to do that for him. So he does jump through that. And he just... I mean, Dr. Riley does get hurt, but I think he jumped into the wrong time zone or something, which is probably what they were trying to tell him. And there's going to be a lot of Dr. Riley trying to find Corbin. So
wow,
it's really interesting. It's just wow, that whole book. So definitely take a look at it when you have a chance, if you want to read the book.
Alright, and with that, we're going to have to be right back at the click of a button because we are about to hit that marker.
Yep.
So hang tight and we will be right back in just 1 second. Alright, we're back and now we're at Valiant, Ivar, Time Walker, issue number 3.
Alright, and in this one,
we got to see Gillen in the end of the last one.
Yeah, we do actually. So, this girl who was traveling with him, I'm really so bad remembering names. He sees Ivor's brother, who was once his brother actually, and he talks about, you know, that Ivor's not this person you should trust because he betrayed me and he's going to do the same to you and yada yada yada. So that he's basically telling her things about Ivar that she should be aware of. So she tries to get out of there while Ivor's brother, I'm going to say.
Gillen.
Oh, Gillen? Oh, Gillen tries to attack everyone, where Ivar is actually being held captive and is being punished seriously by the Nazi soldiers. So with her not believing in killing, she actually comes in to save Ivar. And I remember her name go down. Being somewhere, Neela. Yeah, Neela actually saves him, and then she's like trying to say, you know, that she has one bullet left, so she uses like the skeleton rock thing to a robot brain to actually try to get her way out, as well as these other people who want to kill Hitler, but she's like saying, you know, you can't do that because history will be you know, all messed up and everything. So she's just trying to make everyone out kill Hitler, and lo and behold, there he is, and Neela just runs out and crashes out the window to escape all this chaotic scene of seeing him, as well as the house exploding, so to say, where they're saving him. Then these two robots are trying to tell her about Ivar also, about what he is, and following her, and they're telling her that she's like a mistress and stuff like that. So they're burning at a fast rate, because that's science, I guess. And they just leave her a little message, but I'm not going to say what it is. You're going to have to read the book, but it's really interesting. So she meets up with Ivar once again, and being very jerking to him, just saying, you know, everything you did was like everything you said was wrong. I should have killed you in the beginning, and you're not to be trusted from what I heard. And I'm just going back to change my history and the story. And as she goes off, then I love in the end, like how there's some behind me and he says, well, this is going as bad as I thought, and I'm just like, wow. So Neela is actually going back to change her history without Ivar's help because she thinks that he's all jerky and everything and all for himself. So it's really a controversy between those two, but somehow they're going to get together again.
Of course. And then we have Divinity issue number 2.
Yeah, and this is a Valiant book.
Still Valiant, yes.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying still Valiant. Yeah. So in Divinity, it talks more about Abraham's story about getting his wife or girlfriend actually pregnant, and he has this memory of that, and he's in the year 1960 where he's in this different world, and there's like a lot of dialogue, and he's just going on these mystical adventures, so to say, from what I'm seeing and reading actually. And he's just saying, everything's working properly, because he's in that whole uniform with the oxygen and everything. And that's really, he's just doing this whole experiment. It was from the last issue of why he's doing this, so if you read the last issue, you'll know what's going on. If you didn't, then I would recommend
checking out the issue
first. Other issue. Yeah, I was just trying to think of the word, but he's just saying, he's just trying to, like he's going on this mission, but his memory of his wife, is really affecting him with trying to get on with this mission. And Jinjor actually appears in this issue, who's this big gigantic robot. And he also teams up with Livewire,
Gilead,
and Exo Man of War.
And Ninjak.
Yeah, and along with Ninjak, I forgot. He was in it
it's
too.
It's the Unity team.
Yep, and he's just saying, and it's just like them, I've noticed that their characters have been encountering either what could affect them of who they see, or what's to come. Like, have you noticed that? Mm-hmm. They've done that for these characters twice already, because it was in the other book, and I believe it was a Bloodshot book, I'm not too sure. But that actually brought that back to me with that. And I feel bad for Abraham, because he's going through just so much with trying to complete this mission, and everything in his memory is affecting him from trying to complete it. And that's what's really interesting about his character. He's trying to forget the memory, but in his, you can't.
Alright, we're in IDW now.
I am so glad this has ended.
Angry Birds Transformers, the final issue number 4.
Yeah, and the reason why I say that, guys, is because all along this series, it was just Angry Birds as Transformers. And you see the Transformers at the end of the book. But it's just, the pigs trying to say, let's work together, and the eggs, and we gotta drain the eggs, and of course, we didn't see this coming. The green pigs take over the egg power, trying to get rid of the Angry Birds, and they go back to their normal selves after the Angry Birds work together to try to guard the eggs and keep them guarded. And then there's where you see the Transformers, where the green pig's on the other world, and the way they say, let's agree not to use it again, I agree too. Don't let them use it again. Because No, I'm not saying if it was supposed to be Angry Birds and Transformers, not to let Angry Birds be Transformers, let Angry Birds team with Transformers. They're the first issue and then the last issue. They haven't appeared at all. I mean, it wasn't a good combination to put Angry Birds as Transformers. That's my opinion. I don't know about you guys, but if you like the book, then that's just up to you.
Alright, on issue number 1, The Fly, Outbreak, issue 1. I heard lots of good things about this book.
There is
the artwork's very good. Apparently, the son of the original man that became the Fly is performing experiments, and one of his experiments on the man
didn't really work out too well, and we could see that because he's just trying to get his father to be human again and everything, and he's trying to find every which way of doing that, as well as trying to be careful around others because it could be spreading, and that's along with his wife as well. And we do see the Fly, of course, and it's attacking everybody. It's just, and it's even going after his son as well, and it's just all over the place. I love the artwork because it's more of a realistic type of way. And actually, the person that was in the fly actually comes out of it, but they have to keep him contained because it could spread from person to person. So they have to like be in these suits, containment suits, I think they call.
Yeah, and they leave them off in a containment part of the city.
So that way it doesn't go spreading around more because it could spread. So that was pretty interesting, you know, with the whole spreading around and everything, with the thing that he had as a condition, and that's really something. This I'm surprised I saw, actually.
Little Nemo Return to Slumberland, issue number 4. I feel like it's been a while since we actually read this.
It actually has been a while. I thought the other issue was last issue.
No.
Well, anyway, he goes off to Slumberland, and him along with Flip and Lunk are trying to get back in normal size, and they do, because he was actually saying he wanted to go back to his Earth and not stay in Slumberland, but he's like saying, you know, how he changed his mind because he thought that the playmate was just interested in like girl stuff, and she was actually interested, and he was more concerned about Flip. Like, he didn't like where they were trying to kick him out of Slumberland, so he says, you know, you should give him a chance and everything. So they go on this adventure, and what was the princess's name? Why do I forget names? Well, she lost her crown, basically. And there were times where Nemo just, or James, I think his name was really, but I'm going to call him Nemo because that's what they call him in Slumberland. He kept waking up, and I thought every issue that ended with that, he just woke up and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no,
but it just kept continuing.
And then he went back to bed.
So they're just trying to get back to Slumberland, and it's very adventurous how they're trying to get back to Slumberland, and it's just, it's really like, what's that book called? Like, it reminded me of the Never-Ending Story, kind of.
Yeah.
But it's more adventurous than the Never-Ending Story.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, and then him and Flip became great friends, and he actually stopped smoking cigars and just liked eating candy, actually, which didn't affect anybody. Here's the scene that left me saying it's gonna continue. They're they're going on board this flying blimp to find her crown, and then he's like saying, "Oh, it's over. I can hardly wait until it's time to go to sleep again." And it says the end, but there's no question mark. So something tells me either it's going to come back where they're going on a quest back.
Welcome to our final Slumberland. It's the final issue, Mike. Unless they come back again for another series.
Oh, they gotta come back. I love this
it says right
issue.
here, welcome to our final Slumberland.
I could read that, thank you. Yeah. I just can't believe that it's the end where they're going on this quest, because I really enjoyed this book.
With the intent to return before too long.
So, who knows? It might return.
It probably will. I think it was an excellent series. I've read it all up to this point, so I would definitely recommend checking it out. And you definitely have our support to have another volume, because it was a really great story.
It was, absolutely.
Finally, the Powerpuff Girls Super Smash Up issue number 3.
Yep, and it's with Cow and Chicken. And basically in Cow and Chicken, they're just, this devil's trying to make them singers and superstars and everything because of their play.
Classic Cow and Chicken.
Yeah, I just love the classic Cow and Chicken, and it's just the whole thing where they're trying to sign papers, and then the DD monster came in just saying, "Oh, you're a dancer and everything, so I like to make you a superstar, Count Chicken, you know, hit the road, Jax, and don't come back no more, and yada, yada, yada." So the Powerpuff Girls, from Dexter's calculating thing, says that they were right there when Cow and Chicken were, and they're trying to go to the lair where...
Oh my god, it's Monkey.
Yeah.
IR Monkey.
IR Monkey appears in this. And they're going into the studio where Dee Dee was known to be, where they need to put the chemical Y on her. They pull off this amazing disguise actually to get in there, and I thought that was really funny. So as she was about to fill out the paperwork, they're trying to get the whole thing there.
Oh my god, I Am Weasel
actually appears in this comic book as well. I mean, if you knew IR Monkey was there, how can you have IR Monkey without I Am Weasel? I knew that was going to happen.
And
then
Super Cow.
Kate, I think that's how you say it. I don't know Spanish, but she actually comes in and tries to get everything. And, of course, Dee Dee hiccuping went into a different universe.
And it turns out I Am Weasel was under mind control.
Yeah. It was, like, really classic, this book. And then it goes into a little bit of a Billy Grimm's, I think.
The Grimm Fairy Tales of Max and Mindy, or something like that.
Yeah, it was something about a beauty pageant, and
Billy
dressing up as a girl actually won. And I thought that was also hilarious, so I think the next one is going to be either there or... I'm not really familiar with the present cartoons.
Oh,
it's the one with the blue guy. Oh,
yeah, I can't remember.
Oh, why do I keep forgetting? I'm sorry, guys.
It's bad. It was the one with the orphans or something like that. Imaginary Friends.
Yeah. That's what it was. Imaginary Friends or something like that. But I really can't wait to see the next issue and how all this is gonna turn out. This was like really just, I mean, I really do miss the Clash thing that happened, but it's good enough. It's a good story and it's well put together, so I would say definitely check it out.
And with that, that's it for this indie review, guys.
Yep.
As always, don't forget to check out Comic Related, Comic Frontline, Zone 4 Podcast, and Frontline Gaming Zone. Together, we are your #1 source for comic-related news, reviews, and a whole bunch more. It's a double-header night for us, so right after this, we're going right into the big two.
And that's where
so look forward to that. If this is going up in the morning, hopefully we'll be able to get both of them up quite fast.
So.
But I'll have both of them uploaded by Monday night. Everything should be up. I know the descriptions are so far 3 weeks behind. I should be fixing that by tomorrow night, actually.
Okay.
So by Monday evening, everything should be up, and then Monday late evening, everything should have descriptions. So until next time, everybody, keep reading, keep collecting, and we'll see you guys really soon in another review.
Hey, everybody.